What's up, YouTube? I'm William Bitter, and this is my channel, Money Thoughts.
Money Thoughts.
So currently, I'm living in Vail out of my Tesla Performance Model 3. I actually live in New York City in a tiny apartment, an 80 square foot apartment. You can check out that video. I saved and invested by running a dog walking business, and most of my money is actually in Tesla stock. Anyway, in this video today, I really want to talk about this huge opportunity that is investing in Tesla. Of course, none of this is financial advice. Do your own homework. In my opinion, Tesla is like one of the greatest risk-adjusted investments of all time. I've never seen a company that I feel so much conviction about their future and such a massive amount of growth and opportunity. So let's talk about Tesla. First of all, Tesla's leadership is Elon Musk, richest man in the world. If you just look at the track record of what Elon has done, so Elon time and time again has done things that people have thought were impossible. For example, landing reusable rockets. That has made the cost of launching weight to orbit into outer space I don't know, a 10th of the price or a 30th of the price or something. And you might say well, okay, where's the the competition is coming. Every other rocket maker could just make reusable rockets too, right? But now it's been 5 or 10 years and no one has done it, and that's because it's extremely hard, a lot of upfront costs, a lot of blowing up rockets to learn how to do it. So I think the same is going to be true for full self-driving. Anyway, I'm getting a little distracted here. So they have an incredible leadership with an incredible track record of doing things and executing on their word. Maybe not necessarily executing on their timeline, but everything that Elon has said he's going to do, he's basically done. I believe that he is going to get humans to Mars, and I believe that there's going to be autonomous robotaxis and humanoid robots. So stay tuned. So Tesla's talent. I mean, Tesla attracts the best engineers in the world. If you did a survey and asked college students that were engineers, where do you want to work? They're all going to say Tesla. Tesla uses the same engineers from SpaceX to engineer their cars. They just have incredible engineers at their company. Also, Tesla has an incredible mission of transitioning the world to sustainable energy, and this really resonates with its engineers and drives them, and Tesla really empowers their engineers to innovate and think outside the box and get stuff done. Not just having the best talent, but knowing how to motivate and utilize their talent. Manufacturing prowess. Tesla has said before that their future advantage over other companies is going to be their manufacturing prowess, which we've already seen. Tesla's margins are 2 to 3 times higher than other car manufacturers, and they're just at 6% of the market, making 1 million vehicles a year. By the end of the decade, they plan on making 20 million vehicles a year. So you have to understand that the scale of this is going to drive margins even higher. And so their manufacturing prowess has already shown up in their financials. They're the only company currently that is making vehicles using these giant die casting machines that basically delete hundreds and hundreds of parts and machines and robots and processes, basically making the skeleton of the vehicle in 2 or 3 massive parts instead of a bunch of little pieces. And also, Austin just started making these cars with structural battery packs, where basically the structure of the vehicle is what holds all the batteries together instead of having a separate battery pack and vehicle structure. So the structural battery packs, alongside with their newly designed 4680 cells, if we look back at the battery day that they held years ago, they basically said they're going to drive the cost of batteries down by 50%. And their factories are just now, Texas is just now producing these cars with structural battery packs and 4680 cells. So even though their margins are 2 to 3 times higher than other car manufacturers, we haven't even seen them implement this new manufacturing prowess show up in the financials. We probably won't see it until the end of the year as they ramp production in their 2 new factories. But that's going to drive costs down, and no other car manufacturers are doing that. So their manufacturing prowess is world class. They're literally creating their own metals. They have metallurgists creating certain metals with certain properties to design their cars. And I don't know like what other car companies are doing that. If anyone knows, like definitely comment below. Talking about total addressable market, wow. Yeah, so if we just look at the global car market in terms of revenue, it's like $3.8 trillion. And eventually, I think no one's arguing that the entire car market is transitioning to electric vehicles. So the future market, the future addressable market, just in terms of selling EVs for Tesla, is a $3.8 trillion opportunity. So according to ARK Invest, basically the autonomous vehicle and robotaxi opportunity could be worth between $7 and $10 trillion by the end of this decade. So regardless if you believe that in the next 10 years, by the end of the decade, it's going to happen eventually, and Tesla is way ahead of the pack in terms of developing their full self-driving software. In terms of their collection of data, they're the only company with millions of vehicles that have the current hardware to drive themselves and are collecting the data and moving forward in the full self-driving software. You know, if they're so far ahead in developing full self-driving software, then like even if another car company decides to develop a full self-driving software of their own, you know, unless it's safer than Tesla's, you know, they're going to be better off leasing the technology from Tesla, because if they don't, they're essentially putting people's lives at risk, having them drive a less safe software than Tesla's software. So the global energy market, I believe, I just Googled it really quick, is $5 trillion. The future of energy creation and storage is going to be solar and wind and renewables. Tesla's solar and Powerwall solutions is like, it could grow into this $5 trillion market easily, and basically we're talking about replacing oil companies. So the opportunity there is huge, still in the very early stages with that. They're offering their own car insurance, which they expect to be able to offer to 80% of their customers by the end of the year, in the US at least. The global car insurance market is $1 trillion in revenue. So that's a huge opportunity. And then if we want to talk about the humanoid robot in combination with real world artificial intelligence, I mean, this opportunity gets like nutty, because essentially, you know, what is the total addressable market for a humanoid robot that can basically do everything that a human can do? And in the future, potentially, you know, they're going to be smarter and more capable than humans. You know, the total addressable market is basically the current size of the economy, which is like $100 trillion market. And that's where we hear Elon's comment of like, you know, is there even a limit to the size of the economy? And I think, you know, a lot of people say, well, there's other people that are creating robots that do tasks, and there's already these robots that do all these tasks. But I think what Tesla's really good at doing is like they're really good at manufacturing at scale for a low cost. And I think that's what's going to happen. That's what they're going to focus on with this humanoid robot, is that they're going to have they're going to plan on manufacturing these robots at scale, which is going to drive down the costs, especially the, you know, what they've done with their manufacturing prowess. They're already really good with battery technology and actuators and real world AI from the cars. So they're really in a good position to create these robots for a very low price. And then I think the way that Tesla solves problems is also really like from general utility. Like, for example, robotaxis. You know, instead of figuring out like how to solve full self-driving in one city, you know, they're really like, how can we make a car that's able to drive anywhere in the world? And I think that that's what they're going to do with humanoid robots. It's not going to be like, how can we make a robot that works on this assembly line and does this task? They're going to think, how can we create a humanoid robot that can do anything a human can do? So that's where I think that in the long run, Tesla's going to win with their humanoid robots. And then there's such a huge portion of the economy that's cooking, cleaning, and handiwork. And it's like, how do you even quantify, you know, if you have a robot that can do all your cooking, cleaning, and like, you know, fix a doorknob or like put a new outlet in, like, I mean, it gets pretty crazy if what is the total addressable market for a humanoid robot? It's going to be really fun to follow Tesla on that journey. And then in terms of vertical integration, I think Tesla is the most vertically integrated company in the planet. I don't know where to begin, but basically they design and manufacture their own solar generation, so energy generation, as well as battery technology and battery storage in terms of their power walls. At the source, they are the ones creating the energy and storing it through battery power walls and megapacks, as well as car batteries. And they design their own software that basically maximizes the charging and the distribution of this energy through different batteries, and stabilizing grids with the megapacks, and preconditioning the batteries to charge at a faster rate with the car batteries. So the software, the sheer software that maximizes efficiency with these products. And then they design and deploy their own supercharger network. I believe it's the largest by a mile in the entire planet. They're slowly replacing every single gas station in the world. Obviously they're not going to be the only ones in this market, but like every gas station eventually will be replaced with EV chargers. They build their own cars and car parts from the ground up. Like I said, they design their own metals, they design their own parts, they design their own machinery in their factories, their own batteries. They have partners, they have suppliers, but they are in the weeds with their suppliers, helping them design the batteries that they need and the machinery that they need. So they're really involved with their suppliers. So, I mean, talk about vertical integration. They are in bed with their suppliers, I mean, they make their own supercomputer, basically the brain of the car, and they design their own neural network training computer, which is going to be Dojo, which is currently a bunch of GPUs, but eventually could be their own Dojo system using their own chip infrastructure to build their own supercomputer. To train the neural networks. So, I mean, they're literally building their own building blocks to build their own supercomputer to train their neural networks that will train their cars for full self-driving, and in the future train their humanoid robots for navigating the real world. They create their own full self-driving software. They make their own user interface for their vehicles. It's hard to find another company that does so many things. Other cars are going to use other companies to supply the user interface and the full self-driving software. And there's no company, especially car companies, so complex that is in so many parts along the way of that is so vertically integrated as Tesla. And they offer their own financing and their own car insurance. Oh yeah, they basically got rid of dealerships. You order your car straight from online, pick it up at a service center. Oh, not to mention that they own some mining companies, integrating them into all the way upstream to like where the raw materials are coming from to build these vehicles. They don't spend any money on marketing. So basically Tesla focuses all their money on building the best product, and the product sells itself. And Tesla owners are basically free marketing, because I don't know a single Tesla owner that doesn't rant and rave to their friends and family about how awesome Teslas are. I am guilty myself. Also, Elon Musk accomplishes more than these car manufacturers spending hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising. He accomplishes more while he's taking a shit, just making a couple tweets. He gets more publicity doing that than any car manufacturer does by spending hundreds of millions of dollars. So Tesla already has the best product for the best price. Teslas are the safest, the fastest, and the best bang for your buck in terms of price. They also have features that other car manufacturers are trying to copy, such as Sentry Mode, where your car basically turns all the cameras into a security camera, where you can like speak through your car remotely through your phone and look through the cameras, as well as record things that happen on the dash cam. Pet Mode. I believe that Tesla's the only company that's doing over-the-air software updates for vehicles. There might be a couple other ones, but at least at such a large scale, Tesla's the only one that I know of. So I think owning Tesla is like owning 12 vertically integrated startups. Number 1, we've got Tesla Insurance. Number 2, we've got battery technology, design, manufacturing, sourcing of materials, software around charging, etc. Number 3, we've got energy generation and storage, solar generation, Powerwall, megapacks, as well as software to disperse the energy throughout the grid, energy arbitrage, grid stabilization. Number 4, we've got the supercharger network, which is the largest EV charging network in the world, basically replacing every gas station. Number 5, we've got heat pump technology, which makes heating and cooling the vehicles more efficient, which Tesla's already said that down the line they will use the same technology in HVAC and water heating in homes to add that to the Tesla solar generation and battery storage bundle. So Tesla HVAC. Home solutions, right? Number 6, we've got the full self-driving software. Total addressable market is larger than every paid driver on the roads currently. Like, what is the value of the attention of everyone driving in the entire world? I don't know. I value my attention. If I don't have to pay attention to the road and I can do something else, like the unlocking of autonomous vehicles and robotaxis is just, like Elon says, it's going to be the largest increase in asset value ever. And then you have to understand that the driving market will grow. When you can take a nap in the back of your car and it's more efficient to drive somewhere than it is to take a plane, or it's just easy to get around through driving because you can basically hang out and play video games in your car or take a nap and wake up and you're in another place. The market for traveling via an autonomous vehicle is going to go through the roof. The opportunity is in the trillions. Tesla's software continues to get better. They continue to raise prices. Soon you probably won't be able to afford the software and you'll probably pay per mile to utilize the fully autonomous software. That's my prediction, because essentially when your vehicle is autonomous and it can drive, 5 times as much per day than it does currently, then your vehicle is essentially 5 times more valuable. So a $50,000 car is now worth $250,000. But, no one's going to be able to afford to pay $100,000 or $200,000 for full self-driving software. So they're probably going to charge per mile based on, so that way the average consumer can use the full self-driving software and they drive less miles, and then a commercial consumer that's using their car as a robotaxi will have to pay more because they're utilizing it more and making more money. I think it makes sense to charge per mile going forward eventually when full self-driving is solved. So basically Tesla's fleet size is growing exponentially. Meanwhile, full self-driving is going to increase the utilization of this fleet by 5 times. If you think about how many Teslas you see on the roads currently, every year the amount of Teslas is going up by 50 to 100%. But if as soon as the switch is flipped for full self-driving, suddenly we're going to see 5 to 10 times more Teslas on the road because they're just going to be utilized way more than the average vehicle. So it's going to be like one of those iPhone moments where, all of a sudden you're on the train and you look around you and everyone has an iPhone and they're all holding it and looking at it. And I haven't even mentioned, but just the sheer value of lives saved from car accidents, how do you put a value on that? It's pretty nuts to think about. All right, number 7 is artificial real-world intelligence. Basically, Elon has said that, in order to solve full self-driving, we essentially have to solve for real-world artificial intelligence, understanding what is what in the world and where things are moving and what's happening and trying to predict. This is a huge technology. I mean, this is a whole company in itself, is just real world artificial intelligence. That's such a cool company. The fact that you get to be part of that when you own Tesla stock is incredible. And the implications are unknown. You can't even fathom what real world artificial intelligence is going to do in the future. So number 8 is robotics. Tesla's vehicles are already essentially robots on wheels. Every single thing that the car does is programmable by software. Turning the steering wheel left, right, the blinker, reverse, drive, gas, brake, the mirrors coming out, the lights going on. It's all programmable by software. So it's essentially a robot. that understands its surroundings already. Tesla is a robotics company. Like all the actuators that like it sees what's in front of it and then decides to go left or right and then acts on it without you having to do anything, like that's a friggin' robot. And then 9, the Tesla bot. If Elon were to go and start his own startup separate from Tesla and it was private robotics company, like with real world AI, people would be lining up at the door to invest in this private company. So it's just kind of crazy to think that after the earnings call, when Elon said that he was going to focus on the humanoid robot as one of the most important engineering tasks for Tesla right now, it's just mind-boggling that the stock dipped 10% after that, when really he's basically saying, look, we're adding a whole nother startup. But I guess, traditional analysts, they don't like the uncertainty. When is the humanoid robot going to actually be profitable? But personally, I love it because I don't care if it takes 10 years. It's super exciting, and I know it's a huge opportunity, and I know everything that Elon does turns to gold. Just think Terminator and Matrix, like it's kind of crazy to think about. Number 10 is Tesla is an AI computer and an AI chip company. Basically, they're making their own supercomputers to train neural networks. So like, this technology is going to be useful for other companies. It's kind of like Amazon creating Amazon Web Services. They're doing it for their own needs, but other companies are going to want to use this neural network training. If Tesla creates Dojo, which basically drops the cost and time to train a neural network, that's going to be the most efficient neural network training computer on the planet that we know of. Number 11 is Tesla's user interface is basically probably going to have something similar to like the Apple App Store. Just having more people in cars with their attention not being paid on driving is going to open up a whole opportunity of, what are people doing while they're driving? They're going to download games, they're going to download apps, things to use in the car. So yeah, Tesla as an app store provider for developers to develop cool things to do in your car, basically. Number 12 is real world data. Tesla's a real world data company. Tesla's gonna have so much real world video data. Like already, I think they have more real world video data than any company in the world by orders of magnitude. And this data is going to be super valuable. And it's hard to fathom like how valuable it's going to be and what people are going to use it for. But just think, if you could just quick search through the data and say like, hey, where are the potholes in the roads? And like, let's fix them. Or like, where are accidents happening, on roads? And like, let's change the road here. Basically, this data, this huge amount of data is going to be so valuable. We've seen how valuable data is in the digital world of like, what we click on and what we scroll on, but imagine how valuable real world video data is going to be. I really think your imagination is the only limiting factor, Anyway, I know this is kind of a long rant about Tesla stock, but I mean, if you just look at the stock price, I mean, this is just such a huge opportunity. I mean, Tesla is trading at similar prices as it was a year ago. Meanwhile, they basically doubled production, doubled profits. You just see the exponential growth, and it's like, how can you not see that, by the end of this decade, they're going to be way more valuable than Apple? If you just look at the trajectory of how fast Apple's growing and how fast Tesla's growing, as well as all the ambitions that Tesla has versus like what Apple has done in 10 years, I mean, it's just mind-boggling. So I really think it's only a matter of years before Tesla surpasses Apple in market cap. 2-3 years, I believe that Tesla could easily surpass Apple in market cap. Definitely by the end of the decade, I see Tesla being a $10 trillion company. Honestly, in my lifetime, I wouldn't be super surprised if Tesla is like a $100 trillion company. And call me crazy, I don't know, but just the pace of innovation and the things that they're getting into, I don't see anything but exponential growth on top of exponential growth on top of exponential growth. And I don't, and then the layers of like what Elon keeps adding on to these exponential growth curves is like, is he gonna stop? You know, like, I don't know. If you like content like this, definitely smash the like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos. Also, if you like Tesla content, Stephen Mark Ryan is one of my favorite YouTubers to listen to. He's so cocky, and he's just so right, honestly. I just agree with everything that he says regarding Tesla anyway. And Dave Lee on investing, he's great. Rob Maurer is like really the details. Definitely check those guys out. I've never had so much conviction in a company in my entire life. I've been following Tesla for the last couple of years, and it's been the most exciting company to follow. I've been investing for like 10 years, and I've never felt this way about a company. Anyway, I hope you guys join my journey. Let me know if you want to hear more content like this, and all right, peace out. You guys have a wonderful week.
Save and invest your money.